I have spent about $6,000 on Blade and Soul, about $3,500 on Asphalt 9, another $3,000 on Lineage 2 Revolution, and a few more $100 on in-game purchases for many other games. And I've just realized while drafting this video, that totals to the price of a Japanese compact car. Gone are the days where you would just pay for one game and be able to play it over and over until you were satisfied. Nowadays, almost every game will have some sort of additional purchase within the game. Some games even require you to make in-game purchases in order to progress, especially games on mobile phones. Gameloft. I'm sure many of us tried to tell ourselves not to do it, but we couldn't stop ourselves only to realize later that it wasn't worth it. So in today's video, here are a couple of tips on how you can avoid falling too deep into these pitfalls created by video game companies. My first recommendation is to avoid play-to-win games, or games where the more a player spends in the game, the more powerful the player becomes and the more advantage that player has, especially in competitive games. This model is quite common and effective because it has the snowball effect where competing players will just continue to purchase more and more in order to stay ahead of the competition. Because who likes to lose, right? And once you're hooked onto this type of game, you will usually end up spending more and more, especially if you are competitive by nature. And trust me, it all begins with that first purchase and gets harder and harder to get out of this cycle the more you purchase. Do you agree? Type yes or no in the comments below. Number 2, accept that it is okay to lose in video games. Related to pay-to-win games, sometimes in competitive games, it is inevitable that you will be matched with a paying player. But because our minds are conditioned to dislike losing, it is during these times that some games will offer you to purchase options to try to profit off your emotions. So accept the loss, find a new match, and don't fall for that trap. Number 3, avoid free-to-play games that eventually will have a paywall. Free-to-play games often provide a constant stream of short bursts of gameplay and mild rewards that inherently becomes very psychologically addictive. These games typically start off with very easy access to victories, then slowly ramp up the difficulty of these victories. However, that steady stream of micro rewards slows down after a while, and the next level or upgrade transitions from minutes to hours or even days. So before you start playing, I suggest do a little research with Mr. Google to see what other players are saying about the game. Most of the times, players who are anti-paywalls will usually leave a negative review, especially for games which you cannot continue your grind for free. Having tried so many free-to-plays, I have not yet come across one game where there isn't some sort of in-game purchase that will make playing the game continuously smooth. Number 4, understand the real meaning behind in-game currency. In-game currency such as V-Bucks and Helix credits are designed so that players will be disconnected from the real value of money that they are about to spend. Research has shown that when choosing between physical and digital cash, it is actually harder to give up physical cash because we can directly relate to the value of money. Also, people are more likely to spend money if they don't know how much exactly they are spending. So that is why you will see most in-game currencies are not converted at a 1-to-1 ratio. And talking about cash, number 5 is unlink your credit card. Remove Face ID and Touch ID to pay. Or even better, make it so that every time you have to make an in-game purchase, you have to key in your payment and card details. I know it's inconvenient, but this will give yourself more time to think the purchase through and more time to reason with the voice in your head. Also, consider buying game cards with cash when possible because as previously mentioned, it is harder to part with physical cash. Number 6, understand the variable rate enforcement concept. This economist term explains that because our brain loves unpredictable rewards, when the reward is a surprise, the dopamine rush our brains feel is much more intense. In one of my other videos, I've explained how dopamine reinforces the addictive feeling, which is why in games where players open loot box tend to keep purchasing loot box after getting 1 or 2 awesome rewards. But just keep in mind that sometimes it is not purely luck, as there is an algorithm rigging the chance of your draw, just like playing the slot machines in casinos. So in the end, it all comes down to your self-awareness and ability for self-control. I know that paying for in-game purchases is a terrible and practice, But video game developers gotta make money to continue to make more games, right? The continuous buying habit almost always starts with the first purchase, so if you have bad self-control like me, simply stop playing when you reach a paywall and move on to a new game. Okay, I hope today's video was helpful for you. Thank you for watching, and hit that like button if you enjoyed it, subscribe to stay updated, and see you in next week's video.